Okay. I think I'm live now. Should be. Hi guys. One of my games is now bugging me on my phone. Time to delete it. Today we're doing something different. I mainly been doing games on the channel, but also a big part of my life is doing D&D stuff, and a lot of my time goes into prepping for all my different D&D campaigns, which is why one of the big things I've tried to do is join the RPG Writers Workshop. Let's see, should be able to... Hold on. I have to go to the other computer. If you do the command RPGWW, pulls up the link to the Writers Workshop. I am a part of their fall/winter class. So, goal here is to publish a one-shot by December 14th, which is publishing day. So, as you can see here, I'm working on Festival of Feathers, or Festival of the Feathers, still workshopping the name. And I have my outline for it, but we're going to work on it a little bit more and see what we can do. Along with that, I'm taking questions about anything D&D related, so feel free to hit me up with those along the way. All right. Oh, and I need to set myself to do not disturb on Discord. There we go. Cool. So, I'm working on things. We got some music going. Hopefully it's not too loud. Doesn't sound too bad on my end. Yeah, just hit me up if y'all have anything. I'll be checking chat every now and again. I actually have it pulled up over here. So, a little bit of mechanics, a little bit of just writing in general. So, purpose of this campaign is to make it work with the Curse of Strahd campaign, which if you haven't done that, it's based in Ravenloft, which is a dread domain in the D&D universe. Imagine like the Nightmare Before Halloween, or the Nightmare Before Christmas, excuse me. That town, Halloween Town, and the Pumpkin King and all of that, and give it like that Transylvanian Dracula motif, and you get pretty close to what Curse of Strahd is. So, looking at it here, there's an event in the town of Vallaki. I think that's how that's pronounced. Right here, for those curious. Oh, that's Format Painter. Still getting used to OneNote. In the town of Vallaki, there is a Festival of the Blazing Sun. And I looked at it, and I thought it was neat, but I thought we could do better. Because there are different things going on in Vallaki that I thought could use some tying into these special events. So this is going to be a one-shot for 3 to 6 characters of 4th level. And that's based off of what Curse of Strahd recommends players be by the time they get to Vallaki. So they should be level 4 when they get to Vallaki, and then probably be level 5 by the end of this little venture. And this is designed to be run in 4-ish hours. Maybe a little less depending on how fast your party is. So, going from there, we can move into what pulls your players into this adventure. So, a few things here. If you're running Curse of Strahd, they may just be in Vallaki, and this is something you can add to it. I think there's a few different opportunities to give levels while they're in Vallaki, and this would just be another way to go about it. But let's say you're running this as a one-shot by itself. How do you get adventurers into Vallaki while letting them basically build whatever they want as their character? Well, these are characters that you've taken from another campaign, and you're doing this as kind of a filler session. Then it may just be that they find that they're lost in some strange mist coming out of the woods that they've been traveling through, or any other area, and it transports them to Vallaki. This is very much the Ravenloft style, in that it's all about mysteriously transporting your players, and then they're just trapped in Ravenloft with no real way to escape. And if they find themselves already outside of the gates of Vallaki, the festival could have just begun, and you can move straight into the opening ceremony. Now, with that, you could move in with the Baron greeting, the Burgomaster, as Barovians call it. You could have them come in and greet the party and kind of explain where they are, maybe answer a couple questions, but needs to move on to the festival, or maybe have the guards do it. That's another option. But along with that, there's a few different ways for if you're running this in conjunction with Curse of Strahd, because I do want that to be the main avenue for running this adventure. So of course, if the party has been traveling through Barovia, maybe they passed through Vallaki already, and this is on a return trip heading to Castle Ravenloft or something along those lines, the Baron could invite them to the festival, hoping that they won't cause any problems in the meantime, because as we all know, bringing adventurers to any location usually brings trouble. So that's one avenue. Another could be that maybe the Baron trusts the party, and so instead of hoping to keep an eye on them, he's hoping that he can pay them or entrust them to keep the goodwill and that all will be well saying going throughout the festival and just keeping everyone happy and lighthearted. Um, because the Baron assumes that by making everyone in Vallaki happy, they will somehow leave the wrath of Strahd and his domain. Um, and then the last avenue that I currently have is that if your party is more evil aligned or pissed off at the Baron for some reason, they may side with Lady Washter. I believe Washter is how that's pronounced. But feel free to correct me. And she could contract the party into ridding Vallaki of both the Baron and his servant slash guard Isaac. Or Isaac. So, 4 different ways you could start this adventure. I'm hoping to add a couple more. I want to get it to 6, I think, so that way if you need a random one, you could roll a 6-sided die. That's the goal there. So we may work on that. Moving through, Chapter 1 is mainly just backstory, so you can run this even if you don't have Curse of Strahd. Just talking about the weather, how magic works, and then the general consensus of some of the people in Ravenloft / Barovia. And then we move into the actual people in Vallaki that we are concerned about. So there's 3 major families, the Mardukov, the Vlakovich, and the Washter. And then there's a few individual members, Rictavio, Blinksky, the toy maker, and his monkey Piccolo, and then Father Lucian, who is the priest. And that's because I wanted all of them to play a part in the festival by the end of it. But of course, DMs may decide to add other characters or make up their own and replace some of these guys if they're, say, not doing this in Ravenloft. Maybe this is just some gothic town that they're running this adventure in. So then we move into the actual festival itself. And the main dynamic I want to get across here is that it's sort of bridging the gap between a few different groups, while all the while reminding you that there is this tension between the Baron and the Washters. And I want that to come across in this, so we'll be adding some details there. So, the opening ceremony, the Baron will give a lovely speech about how Strahd is evil and that the people of Vallaki are safe from his vampires and other creatures of the night, and reminds them that all will be well. Now, this is supposed to be a little more humorous, as he will go into perfect detail about all the many horrible things that have happened as of late, and we will go from there. Now, the big purpose of this festival is that it's a masquerade. Everyone will be wearing masks, and that will come into play with the cultist group that will be infiltrating the festival. So, of course, your party needs masks, and I've added some rather fun ones here. The Silver Wolf and the Crimson Fox, you may have seen from The Witcher 3. I actually took it from the Triss loyalty mission. Well, it's not the loyalty mission because it's a main story, but somewhere along there. And then a classic Plague Doctor's mask, actually inspired by one of my Curse of Strahd players, his character Shylock Evermore. And then a porcelain doll mask, because I thought, what could be creepier than a porcelain doll face? But everyone is brought into the festival, and I'm planning to give, instead of money, as I have posted here, I am going to give them festival tokens. So the party will get a certain number of these, and the goal is to kind of limit the choices they make, and that's just so you can run this multiple times with the same group, and also if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. Like, this is a very simple, just, hey, if you want to try it, go for it. And I'll be adding more games. I just have the 3 here for right now. So the Baron has invited the Vestini, or Vestani, these humans that are somehow able to travel the mist because they are servants of Strahd. So he allows them to pass through the mist because they've done him no wrong. So they're running all of the games here except for the wrestling. So first one is Three Wolves Run. I wanted to provide kind of a dice game that could be fun. And the whole goal of it is to be high or low. And you get to split the pot. So both the dealer, the DM, and all the players roll 2d6, which I had my dice. I don't know where they went. Roll 2d6 and keep that hidden. Those are your cards, essentially. Or in this case, they could be dice. And then the third wolf is rolled by the DM. So they roll it in the open, and everyone calculates what they have. Or excuse me, I'm skipping a step. You need to be asked high or low first. So roll 2d6, you look at your 2d6, and the dealer will ask you high or low. And what you want to figure out is if you will be above or below the average of 3d6, which could be 10 or 11 depending on how you round. So everyone place their bets. You can ante up here if you want. And then the DM will roll the final die, the third wolf. And Three Wolves Run is when you are whatever you bet. So if you say you're higher than 3d10 or 3d6 and you get 12, well, then you split part of the pot. And so that's just a fun little game that everybody can try and go from there. Axe throwing, I'm still really working on this one because I don't like how I set up the DC for it. But anyway, it's a general, you get 3 tries to throw an axe. And to make it easy on the DM, I had player roll a single attack. And based off that result is how many axes they hit or miss. It may actually be easier to just do 3 attack rolls and then set the AC for the inner circle, bullseye, and outer circle. So we may go about it that way. And then I had rules for natural 1 to natural 20, and then the different DCs. And this earns you a Gothic trinket, one of Blinsky's toys, which is in the Curse of Strahd book, or I'm sure you can find some good examples online. Or you can win a number of copper pieces if this is a continuous game. That may be more worth it. And then finally, wrestling. Isaac, who is the Baron's right-hand man, is running a wrestling tournament. It's completely free. And Isaac's just doing this because he wants to have fun, but he will give 10 gold to whoever can beat him in a match. This turns into a grapple tournament, so it's all based off athletics or acrobatics. And I think there's going to be 2 win scenarios. You can either get Isaac out of the ring, or you just need to survive a certain amount of time in the ring, say 30 seconds. And that gives him plenty of time to try to push you out or for you to escape. So that's all of our festival games. And then we move on to some of the other activities. Fortune telling, for instance. So fortune telling is a big part of Curse of Strahd, given the fact that they sell a deck of cards specifically for that part of the campaign. And fortunes are used to determine where the objects are that they need to fight Strahd. So I thought that was really cool. There's also a card game included called Prophet's Gambit, if you want to find the rules for that and try that instead. But what I thought would be neat here was making a set of fortune rules that don't affect the campaign. So that way, if you're rolling, you can do this one of two ways. I also need, that's gonna bug me. How's this spelled? One R O K K A. Okay. Toroka deck. I don't know how that's pronounced. But if you're running Curse of Strahd, this could be an opportunity for the players to change their fortune, in which case you would use the same rules that you do in the Curse of Strahd game, but I'll also be providing rules for a 3-card fortune telling, which will determine, like, just something simple that might happen to them, and it could just be a fun little activity for some improv on both the player and the DM's part. So, in spirit of trying that, I'm going to make some up right here. So I'm shuffling the Terrax deck, and then I'm going to draw 3 cards, and I'll hold them up to the camera so you can see. So first, I hope that focuses, we have the Trader, who is the 3 of coins, and then the 6 of sigils, which is the Alchemist, or the Anarchist, excuse me. And then finally, the Major of sigils, the Priest. So, 3 cards here. So what I would say is, it would be something involved with fortune, something involved with destruction. So maybe they've lost some property or about to lose some property, and then the way to get it back is through faith or divine intervention, something along those lines. So you could say maybe a party member has lost their family heirloom to someone, and the way to get it back is to seek out religious help, or pray the gods can find it for you because you won't. Something along those lines. So that's just one example. I thought it was a good idea. Basically, the way the rules are going to work is just based off of what the symbol is, and then I may go further and decide it's based off of the number, which I'm not holding up. See, number. So in this case, it's the 4 of stars, the Abjurer. So it's something magical, and it may not be as good as something else that's, say, a 6 or a 7 on the scale. So look at it that way. So yeah, let's see. Looking at that, after that, I thought this one was just funny. There are stockades in Vallaki, and they're usually filled because the Baron just doesn't like people, it seems, and wants to make it to where everyone knows that if they step out of line, this is where they'll end up. But since it's the festival, the Baron has decided to make a mockery of these stockades and say, oh, you can get your portrait painted in one of them. So, of course, they can't actually get stuck in there, and you could have an event where, like, a kid throws a tomato at them before the painting's finished, and so their portrait has them tomato covered, and they're just stuck with that. It might be a good place for their guild house or whatever else they're working on, especially if you're running strongholds or in followers. That's a very memorable piece to have in their stronghold. But it's 5 copper, or you can just let them do it for free. And it is locked to hold them in place so they don't move. But of course, a decent rogue could pick the lock somehow, or maybe a DC 10 to 15 athletics or acrobatics check could easily get them out of it. They're rotted wood in the middle of Barovia. I think it should be fairly easy to get them out. And then some of these start whittling down in terms of detail. The craft show, the only real craftsman in Barovia is Blinsky and his toys. So I will be including a quick description of him and just some of the toys he may have included. And then I'm trying to think of some other people I can add. I actually saw a couple things on the DM's Guild that may be worth looking at. Just to get some ideas rolling. And then, of course, there's always Reddit. And then I have a few other ideas that I've been wanting to do in a game, and this might be the place to do it. So, then we move on to the dining tent. The Mardikovs are very important because they run the Blue Water Inn. But they also own the Wizard of Wine's winery southwest of Vallaki. So they're basically running a food truck in the form of a dining tent. And so people are coming in and out, they're eating. The Baron is given an amount for them to be able to do this, and you could use one of the festival tokens to get a meal, and it may give your players a buff that may come in handy later. Who knows? Or they could get drunk and get disadvantage on all their physical checks, and advantage on all of their social checks. Maybe worth looking into. And I'll add some rules for that because I think that would be fun. Let's see, what's actually at that? Festival token gets a drink. So that'll provide physical disadvantage, but social advantage, because, like, it's Barovia. There should be some weird magic going on with everything. And then finally, the ballroom stage, which I think is my centerpiece for this game, or for this adventure, because it's a wooden platform that was built up in the center of town for guests to dance on. Of course, they need to actually want to dance, so the Baron will be pushing people onto the stage when players start to go near it, because he wants people to be happy and just cheerful, even if they're not. He wants them to fake it long enough for them to end this terror of Strahd. And this is where the cultists start to come in. So, a quick perception check. This could also be passive perception. And also for your cautious players who may be wondering what the hell is going on with this festival, they will notice that there are strange lines all under the ballroom stage that could be a part of some arcane ritual. So, cultist sightings. The party should encounter cultists during this. I'm actually going to move this up in the order, because this should start happening after they get their mask. So it should be the opening ceremony, get their mask, and then you start needing to know about the cultist sightings before explaining anything. So you want cultists to bump into them. You want them to be carrying these books. You want them to have robes and these demon-looking masks. You want to make it very obvious that something's going on with these people. Because if you don't, then you're blindsiding your players with the second chapter. Which you might want to. Kind of depends on the mood for the day. But, should start off with the 4 cultists that we have entering. And, that should really be the start of it. You should have someone bump into them. You should have just people looking weird off to the side, those kind of things. And there's a few other warning signs I have played in here, but the big thing is the book they're holding. Anyone who can read Infernal will know that the book is titled Contract of Flames. So that gives the idea that the cultists are about to do a summoning and try to summon a demon or devil. Also, I butchered the word intimidation. Let's fix that real quick. Basically, players could try to catch one of these cultists and figure out what's going on. But if they do that and then don't silence the cultists, then they will run off to warn Lady Watcher. And there's some repercussions for that I'll be outlining later on. But moving on to the warning signs. The Vestini or Vestani in the area should serve Madame Eva, which I haven't talked a lot about, but she is sort of the head of the Vestani, and while working for Strahd, also wants to find either a successor for him or some way to end his curse. I won't spoil details on that for anyone who may be running the adventure. But it's a fun one. If you didn't start it for Halloween, what's wrong with you? Run more Ravenloft. Like, I love it. But anyways, so she will instruct all of her Vistani that if anyone looks like they could help free Strahd or be a good replacement, they probably shouldn't get killed by a demon. And the Vistani know everything that's going on. The majority of the adventure, they know what's going on. So I've given the same features here. So something's going on, and they will warn the party. That may either be through a very specific fortune telling or some whispered secrets while they're at one of the games or at one of the other events. Of course, townspeople, if you listen close enough, will be talking about the constant feud between the Vlahovic and the Washter families. And so that'll be going on, and that should give a hint that something's amiss and they may want to dig a little deeper. And then finally, if they know the Watcher family at all, they'll know that their sons love the alcohol at the Blue Water Inn. And we'll find that the sons are at the dining tent, have spent all of their festival tokens on drinks. But closer to chapter 2 happening, or chapter 3, excuse me, closer to chapter 3 happening, it should be obvious that the sons are leaving early. And they will respond to any questioning as we're just doing what Mother asked us to. They'll say it was a curfew or something like that. There are some other details that while working on this workshop, I'm going to add into this, but I need to double check some things, which we'll do on this stream. But I wanted to finish running through it before we add anything else. So, after you think it's been enough time of them working on the festival, or maybe they've discovered a cultist and he's run off to warn Lady Watcher, or they realize that one of the cultists has been taken out, move on to chapter 3. The party does need to incapacitate all 4 cultists outside of Lady Watcher in order to completely stop the ritual. They will attempt it and try to start it, but the more they defeat, the easier the fight is going to be later on. And you should not make taking down the cultists super easy. Like, they should try to run, they should try to yell, they should do everything they can. Because they want to start a panic in the town so that the Baron doesn't get what he wants. And this is all thanks to Lady Watcher. So, from there, let's see. The party can, of course, try to report to the town guard. The guard will start trying to warn the Baron or take out cultists. So this is just, for the party, this is an easy way to do the two other things in this list. Either incapacitate the cultist or find the Baron. But at the end of the day, you should move on to the next section, Blood on the Dance Floor, where Lady Watcher actually shows up to the festival in the same crimson robes that the rest of the cultists had, while also wearing a golden devil mask with bigger horns and all kinds of other things, looking rather, it's a very lavished mask. And it should show, obviously, that something's amiss. So, this goes one of two ways. Either the ritual happens, or it's prevented. So if the ritual happens, she comes to the festival, gets everyone in position, and the ritual begins. So the summoning goes, and based on the number of party members, you will use a different solo monster. And the reason for that is while balancing this, I realized it could go astray pretty quickly if I use the same thing for a 6-person party versus a 3-person party. So we're going to try to find a middle ground while working on this, but I'll give options nevertheless. And along with that, they'll be fighting 2 cultists. So, with all of that, after the ritual is completed or prevented, Lady Washter and will flee. If all the cultists have been defeated, no cultist will be with her, but up to 2 should run away with her. And it may be that there's other cultists in the area. She's been building up this network. She should have some people in the backup. So, you then run into the issue of, does the party chase the cultist down, or do they fight the demon? And this is another tough decision that they have to make. So, if they chase the cultist, they then let the demon run loose. The town guard will try to fight it, probably fail, and it will target the Baron or anybody related to him, because that's what Lady Washer wants. Or they can fight the demon, but then that gives the cultist time to head back to the Watcher Manor and prepare for when the adventurers come after them. Which means layer actions will be in place, and there may be more of them. So, end goal there, capture or kill Lady Washter. Or if you're evil, helping her complete the ritual and kill the Baron. That's something I don't really bring up in this section. I'm hoping to flesh out the more evil side of things later on. We'll see. And we move into the conclusion, which actually this is just going to be the conclusion to Chapter 3 rather than its own chapter. So with the festival ruined, we find out the fate of Lady Washer, the Baron, and the rest of the town. And along with this, we learn the rewards the party receives, along with achieving 5th level if this has been integrated into your game, or if they wish to continue playing these characters. I know I've had plenty of one-shots where they wanted to keep the characters going for some time after. So, with that, that's the wrap-up of my outline. We're going to be expanding this outline for a bit, basically until I feel like it's in a good spot for this week for the workshop. And then we'll move on to some other projects. That was a very long-winded introduction to what I'm working on today. But if you have any questions about the one shot, about how I do D&D stuff, or my homebrew world, Terrax, which I haven't talked about a lot on here, but I always appreciate questions on that. Feel free to put them in chat. Thank you, Red. I thought it was a good intro. I just know it was like 30 minutes of intro. But yeah, we will be looking at all this, and if you want to reference anything here, the adventure will be coming out on December 14th. I am gonna make myself meet that deadline, so I can finally publish my first adventure, and otherwise I'll be trying to update things on Twitter and other things as I go along. Yeah, I know you will. I know you will. Don't make me work during PAX Unplugged. That's all I ask. But I think we'll be too busy during PAX Unplugged. So a couple other things I wanted to talk about real fast before I get too tied into writing it. I want to show off my mood board. So this was a thing I shared on Twitter already, but the whole purpose of this workshop is to get you in a position where you can do this system every time you write an adventure. And I gotta tell you, this was my favorite part. Being able to kind of figure out what the mood I wanted to have would be, and kind of what are the key points I wanted throughout the adventure. I wanted Lady Washer to just show up and have this presence about her and know that something's about to happen. I wanted very weird mask and styles a la Dishonored, or more Baroque era art, referencing The Witcher 3 with the Silver Wolf mask or some of these other masks that I show. And then all while keeping the Curse of Strahd motif with like the Gothic architecture. And I need to add this. I want a band there with a giant organ for no reason whatsoever other than it's goth and it's amazing. And then finally the piece of like there is a cult going on. And in Curse of Strahd, the cult's fake. Like, Lady Washer is brainwashing these people into thinking they're summoning demons and getting money out of it so that they can rise up and take over Vallaki. Instead, I was like, nah, demons can still be summoned. Even with the weird magic that is Barovia. So why not make it real? Like, really? So that was just some interesting things that I saw while I was working on this. And then, of course, there's the actual final draft of it, which I'm nowhere near doing, as you can tell. This is just the template from RPG Writer Workshop, which here's their logo. And also, as I put in the chat earlier, if you type !RPGWW, it will give you the link to the website if you haven't already seen it or just Googled it. But yeah, so we have all that. I have some tough decisions that I could include here. I try to fit them all into the adventure, but I don't think some of these work. But we'll see. So I'm going to do some writing. I'll turn up the music a little bit. I actually am going to switch over to my my mood playlist, which was another thing we were doing, which is probably going to get me flagged, honestly, but worth. And I'll have the recording up on YouTube anyway, so I'm going to switch that over, and then we'll get started on some writing. Hope you guys like Vivaldi. There's a lot of Vivaldi. So, let's see. Oh, and actually, real quick, I meant to text a buddy of mine because he wanted to look at this. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that. Also, Red, you'll be happy to know I'm drinking water. Alright. So, I actually can remove this. Let's see, adventure hooks for the party. I think I want to add some more for let's see. Well, actually, this general plot section. Was there anything I wanted to add to this? Let's see. No, I mean, I could clean it up a bit, but I'll do that in editing or when I'm writing the final draft. Let's see, adventure hooks. I wanted to add a couple for if it's not a part of your game. Like, let's say you're not running Curse of Strahd. This is just a random one-shot that you're doing because you thought it would be fun. And what that would look like. So we'll do that, and then look at some standalone hooks as well. So, let's see. What else could we do here? I think, I kind of want these to have a good, evil, and neutral tone to them. So, for instance, on the first one, for in conjunction with Curse of Strahd, the neutral is they just happen to come to Vallaki at the right time, and the Baron wants to keep an eye on them, so of course we'll invite them to the festival so they don't cause any problems in his town while he's busy. So the good, I kind of am biased here because my first group sided with the Baron rather than the Washers. But if the Baron has heard of the party before, he may task them with keeping everybody happy by, one, joining the festival, and two, maybe requesting that they keep an eye out for anything suspicious while they're there. So, of course, that gets them looking around for things and gives a more good aligned intention to it. Were you not supposed to side with the Baron? Let's see. So, Poseidon's Bane is one of my players. Also, my chat box is not working. I don't know what's going on with that. So, Poseidon, that was not your group. Are you talking I'm assuming you're talking about the Ghost of Saltmarsh game, which in that case, no, I'm talking about my Curse of Strahd game, which happened, God, senior year of college, so like 2 years ago now, because I think I started around Halloween, so probably about 2 years ago, I ran that game. Or wrapped it up, I guess, because I think I started that junior year. But, nevertheless, no, this is a side adventure that can take place during the Curse of Strahd campaign, or as a one-shot. So it needs to be able to be run with any kind of group. Yeah, also, I'm probably... So I actually have a... Let me pull that out. I have a list of things to work on today. This was just one of them. And so, reading this off, there's the Festival of Feathers, which is this. And then I have 3 games I could prep for. Curse of Daybreak, Ghost of Discord, or World of Terrax. So I can talk about those. But Curse of Daybreak is Friday. So, well, hopefully. I think it's Friday. Red, correct. Have we heard anything? I don't think we've heard anything from the other 2 players. But Curse of Daybreak should be Friday. And then World of Terrax... possibly Sunday? Which I need to double check on that. I'll text people today. Or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I have nothing going on. But yeah, so Sunday, maybe World of Terrax if people are interested. If not, we could shoot for after Thanksgiving. But I could prep for either of those. Ghost of Discord is also kind of in the same boat where it's not scheduled, so we'll see where that goes. But for any of those, I'm going to be prepping details that I think are more world-oriented rather than anything else. Like, I haven't really developed how my underwater world looks for Ghost of Saltmarsh, or kind of what the coast off of Pandora, the country that Saltmarsh is in, looks. So we may work on those things more, which wouldn't be spoilers for the campaign, hopefully. Yes, underwater. You could go underwater. That's a possibility. That guy turned into a fish. If you don't, since I don't stream this game, 2 sessions ago, which was probably like 3 months ago, they got attacked by an assassin, or they chased an assassin who they then captured and then tried to escape, who turned into a fish because I gave him polymorph because I thought it was funny. Well, he had a form of polymorph. It was more like a possession a la Dishonored. But yeah, so there is a chance of underwater portions because the Ghost of Discord game got a new party member of Sinus, who is a Triton Paladin, or no, Cleric of Storms. Excuse me, I've been getting that wrong every time. Built like a Paladin, but it's a Cleric. So yeah, could be working on that after I work on this a bit, because I do want to wrap some of this up, because the next activity starts tonight, I think. It might already be up for the workshop. But along with that, I need to get an idea of what's going to happen when Eberron releases, which it comes out tomorrow. And I want to just kind of outline the technology that I know exists in Eberron, using the Wayfinder's Guide, which I have a PDF of we can use. Purchased legally on DM's Guild. Throwing that out there. But anyways, we could look through some of that and then see if there's anything I need to adjust for Terrax. But I think I've covered the majority of it. From there, I've been wanting to do some custom magic item tables for World of Terrax, which partly just requires me sitting down and doing it, but we can at least talk through my thought process while I'm working on it. I really want to see why this chat box is not working, because it bugs me. Can I edit that? Did it just not work? That'd be fun. But anyways, so all of that, and then I have a couple class ideas I've been wanting to workshop, which may be good for a stream. So I figure we'll do this for a couple streams. Maybe keep Thursday as VR Thursday, but I may just start doing a Monday D&D stream, and we'll just work on stuff for an hour or two and go from there. I think it'd be fun. But anyways, back to adventure hooks. So I think the neutral one here is just the general, the party finds themselves pulled into the mist. It brings them to Ravenloft or Barovia, whichever one the DM wants to call it. I actually need to look up how it's described in Curse of Strahd, because I think I need to use the same wording. And they will just appear out in front of Vallaki. I think that's a good, just quick introduction to it. Another option would be that communication doesn't normally get out of Ravenloft, but I may break that rule for this. I know what my evil one's going to be, because I want to break this rule. And that is the party receives a letter. Receives a letter from Lady Washer inviting her, or inviting them to Vallaki. Actually, no. I think instead of that, I know what I'll do. So, in Curse of Strahd, when approaching Castle Ravenloft, there is a carriage with a flaming horse at the front. This is Strahd's carriage, and that basically gets you a quick trip from the gates of Barovia to Castle Ravenloft. Brown, thanks for joining. We're prepping my D&D one-shot, Festivals of Feathers, which I will be publishing on DM's Guild on December 14th as part of the RPG writing workshop, which I have Nightbot installed, so if you do !RPG writing workshop, or WW, yeah, RPG WW, it'll pull up the link to the website. Hopefully. Though Nightbot's not acting like it's working, so we'll see. I did mod it, so I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so we're fleshing this out, and I'm answering questions about D&D or anything else. So a black carriage with undead horses. Alright, have fun climbing or weightlifting, and thanks. I'll post the playlist when I post the video to YouTube, because I really like it, and I get to use it for all my writing for this. So, entering the carriage carries them to the washer house. I don't think that's how that's pronounced. In Valaki. One of Lady Watcher's sons will, or one of Lady Watcher's servants, because they do have them, will greet the party and invite them inside. Lady Watcher will propose propose her contract to kill the Baron, or for the party to join her cult. You may also just start the party as members of the cult. So in that case, the DM could say that, okay, you're all evil. You're helping Lady Watcher, but of course you all have your own motives, and your goal is to make sure the summoning goes through, which means participating in the festival, and then keeping the guards at bay while the other cultists complete the ritual. You will not be tasked with doing that. And then if that's the case, then you have to fight the Baron and Isaac, but you have the help of the demon on your side, which of course means Isaac will probably get trounced. Or the demon may be off attacking random people while you guys fight the Baron. So, we'll see. Let's see. So, moving on. No, I need another adventure hook. Got it. Madam Eva and Vestani, find, well, no, let's word that a little differently. The players come across Madame Eva and a band of Vistani on their travels. The Vistani invite them to the Festival of Feathers. Following, the Vistani brings them through the mist and to Valaki. So it's kind of in the same vein as the first one, and then so actually we'll do that. We'll have two. I could probably think of a third one, but we'll see. So looking at that, I think we have a good set of adventure hooks that we can give the party to really get the ball rolling there. So then we kind of need an idea of what magic in Valaki is like. Which I have a Curse of Strahd book. I don't know where I put it. I'll be right back. Book obtained. Nightbot took an hour to post that. I had him set to do that every 15 minutes, so I'm not really sure why he just started. But here's Curse of Strahd. Reflects off my screen, but we have Curse of Strahd. Actually, is there a picture of Keswick on the map that's included? Or not, God, I was looking at Keswick when I said that. Is there a picture of Vallaki on here? I believe there is, but it's on the weird middle section. Yeah, so there is. It's backwards. Well, that's Vallaki. Like, nice, quaint little town. There's actually a nice section for the festival that I'll probably use as reference. And then go from there. But what I wanted to look in here for is setting material. Because I want to give the players some idea of what's going on. And how things work in Curse of Strahd. Alright, so are these different? Those look like different font sizes. It's very weird. Anyways. What I want to try to rock out here oh wait. Real quick. I texted a couple people that they may want to tune in. Open that up. Anyways. So, Barovia is really interesting, and it is called Barovia, so I'm going to change. Well, I got rid of it. Never mind. Replace that. Okay, so, weather in Barovia. So the sun never fully shines. Is the first major piece. It is always foggy, clouded, or storming. Daylight in Barovia does not count as sunlight. For the purpose of effects and vulnerabilities, or tied, or for the purpose of effects tied to sunlight. I'm trying not to just copy and paste what's written in Curse of Strahd here, but this is just my outline, so we'll play around with that. So, magic in Barovia. I want this to just be a quick list, because they do this very it's a very long section on, like, here's how you can make different spells work in Curse of Strahd, or how their effects may change being in Barovia. So, really quick, I am I'm looking through. I got a backer update. If you guys know the Kickstarter Dragon or Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, I backed it, And it looks like physical rewards will be delivered in January of 2020 for US members. So, looking at that. And it will be coming to Roll20, which is nice. So, may have to run that for an online game at some point. Also, sorry I'm snacking on stream, but I'm trying to get through all this freaking Halloween candy. So, Magic in Barovia. Barovia is isolated from the other planes of existence. Therefore, no magic, not even a wish. Let's see, can pull someone from Strahd's grasp. Yeah, I like that. So basically, once you're in Ravenloft, you are stuck there until Strahd is defeated. For the purposes of one shot, they may not be the case, but we'll see. Oh, one thing I wanted to add to the background before the adventure. I'll touch on this more when I get to it. The Strahd factor. And that is the fact that this takes place in Barovia, and therefore, Strahd is a factor that I don't account for in this one shot, and that's kind of the point. If you're running it in conjunction with Curse of Strahd, Strahd should totally show up and cause something, but I want to leave that up to the DM to decide. And if that's an extension of this one shot or an interruption to the one shot, I think either way will be fine. I want to give the DM the discretion they need to really work on this. So, for that, I'm going to quickly read through this. So, looking through Magic in Barovia, banishing a creature fails just like teleportation or other transporting effects. Banishing a creature from the plane fails just like anything else. I don't think there's any other real let's see. Magic allows transit to the border ethereal. Is the only exception. But you can't use that to escape Strahd's domain. You're still stuck. So you can't go from Barovia to the ethereal plane to the material plane. It just doesn't work that way. So Let's see. But, so while spells that transport creatures fail, well, that help creatures leave Barovia, spells that summon or contact creatures from other planes are still successful. Summon creatures cannot leave Barovia, just like its other inhabitants. And Strahd is made aware of any creatures communicating outside his domain. So, a couple big points there. For your level 4 party, shouldn't mean a whole lot, but if you are running this for just an extension of Curse of Strahd and your party may be a little higher, then I just want them to be aware that, hey, they can still do these things. It just may not work out the way they want it to. And then we'll come back to the Barovians and the Vestani, because really I want to just kind of work with the source material on those. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll do the same for the people in general, because this is all really setting fluff. I am going to list out these guys. So we should have... I'm going to put their actual names later, but I believe they have an eldest son and a younger son. So that wraps up the Mardikovs. The Balakovich family has the father, the mother, the son, who will not be a part of this adventure, so I don't know if I'll include him. And then Isaac, who is the bodyguard. So then we have Lady Washer, and then her 2 sons. Rictavio, I want to be a part of this adventure in some capacity, but I haven't figured out how to integrate him. He may just be a way for the DM to provide some backup if they want to use a stronger creature, which actually I may use that to make it to where I don't need to provide stat blocks for multiple creatures. I think I could take this as an opportunity to design one creature that could handle a 3 to 6 character party, and Rictavio could provide backup if needed. I think that would be fine. And we'll go from there. And if they don't own the book, I'll give them stats from the player's handbook or the starting rules that they can use. I think that would be fine. Oh, jeez. So, let's see. What else we got here? So that wraps up all them. Blinksky and Piccolo. Those will be fun. I want to make toys. We may work on toys. So this will have some box text associated with it. That'll be good. We'll do this. Along with the mass, each player is given, or each character is given 2 festival tokens. These tokens are painted to look like silver coins, but have the markings of a feather on one side and the Baron's really is his catchphrase. All will be well on the other. The coins have no monetary value outside of the festival. So these festival coins will be their way to do all of the events from this, and I want to add some lore there that the Festival of the Feathers, well, I guess I should do, let's add a section on that. I'll do that here. And also we're changing it to, I've decided we're doing Festival of Feathers instead of Festival of the Feathers. I'm really mad that stream chat's not working. I don't know what does that. Actually, we'll look at that here in just a sec. Let's see. So, what is the Festival of the Feathers? Baron Velakovich. So this is Baron Velakovich's newest scheme to bring happiness and joy to the people of Barovia, or really to the people of Vallaki. The Baron says this festival represents the feathers of migrating birds. If you can't tell, I'm just making this up, but you know, as all good DMs do. Let's see. I appreciate it, Brown. Glad you're enjoying this. So, let's see. Baron says this festival represents the feathers of migrating birds. Their movements representing their pursuits for better circumstances. He will state that the birds do not worry about the situation they are in. before they know a better one is just a flight. Oh, nah. See, I want it. Well, birds can fly away and leave their problems behind. We, as flightless beings, must build our own happiness. Build our own wings. Any citizen that disagrees or comments on how anybody who disagrees or comments how birds just any citizen that disagrees is thrown in the stockade. But well, okay, so the Markovs will tell an old legend about a group of ravens that that protected a young girl from a giant bat. So, for those who could be running Curse of Strahd, the Martikov family is actually a group of were-ravens. And what that means is they are like werewolves, but they turn into ravens instead of wolves. And even have this same weird hybrid form. And so one of the things I always like to include in my Curse of Strahd games is that the Martikovs are protective. Like, were-ravens are lawful good, and just want to protect people who are trapped in this situation. So the Martikovs may have actually proposed the name of this, but the Baron will, of course, take all the credit for himself. And see where that gets him. So we'll see how that plays out. But the Martikovs could always tell this story and see where it goes from there. Yeah, Red. Rip Brutus. I recently started another Curse of Strahd game. And they unfortunately lost Brutus, one of the were-ravens, to the druids. So very unfortunate event for everyone involved. It was a golden moment in character development, though. I really appreciated it. There was a nice memorial for him, of course. So, I'll read into this more when I'm doing the final draft, but the Baron actually puts on these events like once a month because he is really trying to just make everyone in Barovia happy. And what this really ends up doing is just pissing everyone off because they have to go to these stupid festivals all the time. So actually, let me add that. Signs out. Blocky will talk about the event. Festival of Feathers. an evening of happiness and an evening of masquerade and yeah, happiness. Yeah, festival of feathers, an evening of masquerade and happiness. Attendance by all citizens, especially the children, is mandatory. And for those wondering why the children, is because children are pure happiness and can deflect the majority of Strahd's influence, except they can't. They're usually all beggars and thieves. At least the ones in my game. Best way to pickpocket someone, B5. But let me look. Let's see. There's a sign somewhere. I'm just trying to find it again. Jeez, where did I put this thing? Okay, I know for a fact there's a sign in here. Maybe it's after the actual event. Oh no, here it is. Come one, come all to the greatest celebration of the year, the Wolfheads Jamboree. Attendance and children required. Pikes will be provided. All will be well. The Baron. So, I'm gonna make that 30 minutes because 15's too short. Let's go adjust that real fast. Timers. Edit. I'll change that to 30 minutes. Okay. But yeah, so basically, he requires everyone to show up because he thinks, by requiring everyone to be there, people will be happy and yada yada yada, even though no one will be happy because they're all miserable anyway. So, moving through that, Mordecai can tell an old legend. And of course, if they trust the party, they could drop the hint that there were ravens. Or the party may already know. You never know. So it depends on that. The Baron could give a speech, and of course I could write a speech, but no DM wants to read a speech. That just bores your players. They don't like monologues. They're gonna shoot things that monologue. But basically just talk about how they're ravenous of the vampires. Or they're safe from the ravenous vampire and his spawn. And he'll start talking about how great things have been, even with all the kidnappings and the theft and the arson from last week and the coffin maker's house being broken into. And he'll kind of go into an awkward silence and give a hearty, haha, all will be well, before requesting that everyone don their mask. Of course, the party doesn't have mask unless they're part of the cultist. So they'll receive mask, as stated here. And, let's see. So, along with the mask, each character is given 2 festival tokens, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different events they can go spend these coins on. A festival token will earn, will buy 1 toy. So players could go buy something that may give some insight into what they may need. Let's see. No, I say token. So the stockades are locked in place. It's actually, I'm kind of jumping around here, but I want to get ideas that I've talked about already written down. So so the lock is rusted and won't open. A child runs by and throws a tomato at the stockade. The painter draws them with glasses and a ridiculous mustache. Because why not? I mean, if you got somebody stuck there for 10 minutes, why not draw them ridiculous? Sweet. So the toy maker shop, let's see, I also want to do Sabrina's candles. Book of Woes. Sells books that complain. Sells books that sells books that cry, and sells books that wail. Why not? For each of these, so a festival token will buy 1 item from a shop. The token purchases are generous donations from the not at all forced to give away things shopkeepers. So, we have Sabrina's candles. We have Bartholomew's Book of Woes. I want to have one more, because I think that'd be fun. Have just some random characters in here other than Blinksky that may provide some additional looks. Let's see. Trying to think what else we could have here. I like the candles. Books of Woes I just thought was funny, but not really but not really past that. So, actually, I think at this point, I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll come back. I mainly want to get a drink refill and maybe grab a small snack, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to switch over. I'll leave the webcam on, but I'll mute my mic. So, be back in 5. Actually, let me add the webcam real fast while I'm sitting here. Now, I'll try to figure out the chat box in the meantime, because I don't know what's going on there. So, we'll line that up. It doesn't fit. Of course it doesn't. Good enough. Okay. Then I don't know what's going on with stream chat. It's being weird. Anyways, be back in 5. 3 minutes, whatever. There we go. Got the right setting eventually. You know, while I'm sitting here, what's going on with this chat box? I think I'm going to just add it back in. So see if that works. It's weird that it starts down there. That makes me want to do that. I'll go back to. Can I make it start? Alright, interesting. It works, but it also doesn't keep it on there very long. But whatever. So I think at this point what I want to do is clean up the axe throwing game, and then I think we're actually gonna switch. I think we're gonna switch to a different subject for a little bit, just because I am getting close to having most of my outline done, and I don't want to do the actual writing until we do the next couple lessons, because I'm waiting on some tips from the workshop. So with that, I'm going to try to do a straw poll. Actually, well, we just have one person in the chat. So, there's that. Let's see. I think what we might do, I need to turn off this freaking Steam notifications. I'm just catching up on some notifications in the meantime. So yeah. Actually, let me go back on intermission for a minute. I need to see if my package is in. Oh no, that was what that was. I wonder if what email did I use for that? Is that Yahoo? Let's see if this shows up. So while I'm not working on D&D, I'm trying to see if my bit compressed gloves came in, because I wanted to try those. I haven't seen it yet. I think the answer is nope. I misspelled gloves. Even better. I thought it was today that they were coming in, but I think it's later. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It should come in this week. So, we'll see. Anyways. Move on from that. I think I'm gonna skip this song. Okay. This is Corvo's theme. No, this is Aristocrats of Karnaka. Okay. So, let's see. We'll look at what I could work on right now. I am waiting on someone to join the stream before I talk about an idea for a campaign diary, so we'll look at that. I guess we'll work on... Go to homebrew. What do I got going on here? I already did my gunslinger stuff. Let's look at... I'm trying not to yawn on stream. I don't know why I'm tired. It's not like it's late or anything. I didn't have my afternoon coffee. There was that. So yeah. Just us right now, Red. It's not super late. Late for you. You've been up all day. I slept in this morning, basically. Well, it's been 12 hours. I guess that's a day. And the weather outside. I wish I could move my cam and show that it's been dark and stormy all day today, but you know. It's been Ravenloft weather. But whatever. The cat is stopping you. That's funny. It is perfect riding weather. And I think we've gotten some good work done on my outline. I'm gonna clean this up. I think that's the last thing I'm gonna do. What I was saying is we could probably clean this up. Make this more of a step set, like you do step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you can run it again. And let's see, maybe some quick stacks for Isaac for the grappling. Let's see. Give fortunes to the player character for 1 festival coin. DMs can choose to give the players a new Fortune of Ravenloft as described in Curse of Strahd. So we are deleting all of this. So the game provides players with 3 axes to throw at a target. The player character makes 3 attack rolls using the stats they would use in, using a throwing axe. Let's see. So the target, and then I want to do target AC. Can I do reach sales? No? Really? Target location, AC. Let's see. So, outer circle is 10. Inner circle is 15. Bullseye is 20. So, based on the result, the player character can be offered a Gothic trinket, one of Blinsky's toys, or 1 to 2 festival coins. So actually, I think the best option there is to give out festival coins and maybe a trinket if they hit. Actually, we'll do this. Let's add table. So they'll get the reward for each axe. Or no. Best result. Give the reward provided in the table. So for just hitting the target, you get your refund, because most Barovian commoners can't do that. Most children can't do that either, which is what the games are built for. Why you give them axes, I have no idea. Let's see. Trying to think what else we could do here. Gothic trinket, 2 festival tokens. For this one, it will just be yeah, we'll do that. If you hit the inner circle, you basically get to play again. and try something from there. Let's see. I think that'll be good. Let's put this in more of a step order. Let's see. I'm thinking out loud here, but I'm also considering the fact that if this is integrated into Curse of Strahd, the party should be able to get some reward out of playing these games. So I think I'm gonna add a note here. DMs using this one shot in Curse of Strahd may allow players to exchange their tokens for 5 silver pieces per token at the end of the festival. So that way the games can allow you to earn a lot. And for a one shot, they're useless because you're not going to use that character again. But if you're playing in Curse of Strahd, then having quick access to some money that you can then turn around and trade for, I don't know, rations, water skins, quiver and arrows, whatever you might need, probably not a bad idea. Not expecting to get a potion of healing out of this, though. So, added that note. There's a lot you can do here, and I'm trying not to like overwhelm a DM who's looking at this, but these are things that I can add in as I go, like all the sub points. So that'll be good. These are just fun games. You can throw in any festival that you're doing pretty easily. Ugh, Jesus. So let's get Three Wolves Run into more of a step look. Alright, so step 1, determine number of, the dealer and the players each roll 2d6. Keep these values hidden from others. The dealer asks each player to bet high or low. Players may bet a number of festival tokens on one value, but not both. high or low is determined by the average of 3d6, 10 to 11 on how you round. So we're actually going to move being above, being higher or lower than the results, than the average results of 3d6. So, I actually could make another version of this, but we'll see. The dealer is the final d6 open. All participants add this result to their total. Anyone who bet correctly gets a split of the total pie, or the total earnings. I may workshop this one a little more. We'll see based off playtest, because at the end of the day, I don't think this really. I don't know how well this is gonna work. Actually. Red, we may try this Friday. I think, like, just to test it out, we may run a round or two of it. Also, did I get everything but the end of the player's roll d6? Yeah. So, we'll do that. He will bet up to 10 festival tokens, so actually only 5 gold, on the match if it entices the party to play. So, I think that's good there. Let's see. The fact that chat box doesn't do anything really unnerves me. It's only showing mine. And it doesn't stay very long. Anyways. So we'll think of some more shops. I think that'll be good. Think... Oh, it shows up. It shows up. I just want it to stream from top to bottom, not bottom to top like it's doing. Because it's expecting a lot of messages, which is not the case. And also I need, to fix the timer, which is a setting. On position? I'm not seeing that part, but I did fix it to where it actually just shows all the messages, so that's nice. Now that's fixed. So that should help. Doesn't show everybody's name. Kinda sucks. I need to adjust the formatting, but that'll require a little more playing around. But at least that's fixed. Okay. So I think chapter 2, which I really didn't plan to spend this much time on, but it happened. It's pretty fleshed out as far as like things to do with the festival tokens goes. And then we get to Lady Washter's Masquerade, which is chapter 3. I need to really work on this one. I think that's going to be a little bit of my creative time on Wednesday. But I want to save some of this for Wednesday, so we're going to switch over to something else, I think. We should be. I don't know why we wouldn't. Didn't you say you needed to read up some Call of Cthulhu? I'm also debating. Let's see. I didn't want all the way down there. Oh, Jesus. I gotta start doing these streams earlier. Anyways, lots of notes here, but let's actually close up a bunch of those in case. I don't think they're spoilers. Nah. Not really spoilers in any of this. But who knows? Actually, wanted to check a couple things real fast while we were on a kind of good stopping point. So we have a couple options here. Have a couple options here. We could. I don't really want to do campaign prep because the two games I need to prep for, red's in both of them, and I'd rather work on something else because I could prep that while you're too busy painting minis or reading Call of Cthulhu. And then, so I think could work on two things. I can work on a... oh, well then we may end up prepping Ghost of Discord then, because... or Curse of Daybreak, because I really do need a prep for that. I need to figure out what y'all are doing next. But if you're getting ready for bed, good night. We need to figure out what we're doing for dinner. Yeah, just text me. Okay. See if I can keep going for another hour or two. We'll see how this goes. I'm basically just wanting to go until I'm ready for bed. Because I don't get to work on D&D too often nowadays. But I think we're going to work on a custom class I've been doing for my friend Grant. So actually, I'm going to stop my recording real fast and go from there. Okay. So, Act 2 of our long D&D stream, which, God, that lighting. Okay. We are going to work on something very bright compared to Outlook. Jesus. Is there a dark mode for Google? I always forget. But we're gonna work on a custom class I've been doing. And this is just me wanting to try it out. This may go on Reddit, but it's too copycat to be published anywhere. It's based off of, oh, actually, I want to pull that by itself and pull my other stuff over here. Much better. Okay, it's a little bright. But this is the Voidwalker. It is a class I've been experimenting with for D&D 5th edition, and it's based off of the Dishonored setting. So it's all about having the outsider's mark and calling on his favor. So let's see. With that, talk through it. Just see if there's anything I really want to work on, and then we'll talk about the powers, because that's really where I want to spend some of my time here. So, Voidwalker is in the same area as a rogue or a warlock, kind of a mixed class between the two. Because of that, it shares a lot of the proficiencies with the rogue, getting armor proficiency in light and medium armor. For weapons, it has simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. For saving throws, I chose dexterity and wisdom, and you'll see why here in a little bit. And then I gave it a tool proficiency to give it some crafting capabilities. I wanted them to either make poison or potions, which they could do with a poisoner's kit or an alchemy kit. Kind of gave them two sides of the same coin. And then I told them to choose two between athletics or acrobatics, give them like a movement skill, and then arcana, stealth, insight, and perception. And I thought about throwing history in there, but it didn't really fit with the motif. So for equipment, they can choose a short sword or a long sword. Basically, are they using dexterity or strength? They get a ranged weapon or a second short sword if they want to go range or dual wield melee. They can get an explorer's pack or a dungeoneer's pack, and then they get leather armor, 2 daggers, and the tool they are proficient in, because I wanted them to start with it much like a rogue starts with thieves' tools. So then, running through the level diagram, like almost every other class, at every 4th level, and then at 19th, they get an ASI or a feat. So that stays the same. But then from there, level 1 you gain your mark. You get to choose where your mark is, and you start gaining favor of the outsider. You get to get your first couple abilities and your favors known, and how often you can use them. So I may need to look through this again, because I actually think I told the player who's playtesting this that they have more favors than they actually do. But we'll see. So, let's see. Next up is the mark specialty. Basically, the subclasses your mark transforms based off the powers that you choose. You get some special abilities because of it, and I build the subclasses based off of those core abilities. So those are ones that you get for free, but you can't change out, which was the big deal there. At least in the final draft. For this first draft, I'm being really experimental and letting my player Grant really do whatever he wants with it, as long as it fits into the context of the game they're playing. And then you get enhanced reflexes. This is basically, if you've played Dishonored, this is the almost like the deflect or the guard against cross swords abilities that Corvo has. And it gets upgraded later to the point that you can throw things back, which I think is really cool. 5th level, you get extra attack. I thought as an assassin style character, you may want that. Though, maybe based off the subclass, I may change that, because there is a spellcast or a pseudo spellcaster that I don't know if they'll play with extra attack too much. But then 6th level, you get your next subclass feature. At 7th, you get Gift of the Outsider, which basically lets you have a chance to not waste or not use or expend a favor when you use one of your powers, which allows you to do more. Supernatural Reflexes is a upgrade. And then coming down through the last couple levels, it's very front heavy loaded. I wanted this to be a class that you could dip into for a one shot. Like up till 10th level, you're getting something every level. And after that, you start focusing more on your abilities and how you can use those, and really upgrading your equipment or your style from there. And then I'm not sure what the 18th level ability is going to be yet. I think, yeah, I haven't put it here, but I think it may end up being another subclass ability. So let me add that. So we'll list that out. So running through the powers. The mark at 1st level, you gain the ability to call in the void, which for me is my version of the astral plane, but also is exactly what it's called, the void from Dishonored. So you get to choose one passive favor and one active favor, and I'll get into what those are when we get to the list of favors. Active favors, of course, require a somatic component, as the power flows through your mark from the void itself. So you also gain Favor of the Outsider, which is what you use to use these abilities. You can use these favors a number of times equal to your level plus your wisdom modifier. So up of 25 times on a short rest. Purpose of this is that high levels you should basically be using your powers every turn, and I thought that would be a good number to hit. So let's see, 2nd level you choose your specialty, and each specialty gets 2 active and 1 passive favor. So these will be very focused on the subclass. And some may have choices. I'm starting to think that with a couple of my mobility ones, but we'll see. So enhanced reflexes, you gain the reactions parry and retaliate. And I believe I talk about those later. But if not, I'll list those out. So basically what you can do is you can choose to block an attack, or fire back. So for melee attacks, you parry, which will decrease the damage. Or if it's a ranged attack, you can retaliate and attack back. And a couple of the favors will actually increase the damage on that. So then ASIs, extra attack for 4th and 5th level. 7th level, Gift of the Outsider. Every time you use an active ability, you have a chance to not use a charge of your abilities. So you roll a d6, and on a 6, you do not waste a charge. And it works basically up to 5 times if you have max wisdom. 9th level, Supernatural Reflexes. Projectiles can be parried and thrown back at the target. And then retaliation will deal an additional die of damage based on the weapon used. So I need to outline those a bit more. We may actually do that here, but we'll see. Let's see. And then skipping all the subclass specialties, we have 20th level Master of the Void. You can now use your abilities an unlimited amount of time. Gift of the Outsider will now let you attempt to use a favor that you haven't earned. And this can be done a number of times up to your wisdom modifier. And the favor that is used at its lowest level. There are exceptions to this rule. Basically the spellcasting one and some of the passive favors. Or actually, I think passive favors will have a time limit to them, if they don't already. And then spellcasting will not be used. So spellcasting favor cannot be chosen. Passive favors, if no duration is specified, have a duration of 1 minute. So that will help us out there. And then favors table is actually down here. I included an example of what a favor may be. So you basically get to put a number of points into this and then go from there. Let's see. Oh, man. Trying to wake up, but losing me a little bit. What we're looking at here is the 3 subclasses and then the list of favors. So we have Mark of Blades, which is a very combat-focused subclass and focuses on moving around the battlefield and building up damage, but also controlling the battlefield using things like Wind Blast. Which I gesture like this because what it does is you flick your wrist and enemies blow away. So we'll be looking a little more into that. And honestly, I would love to keep streaming, but this is... I'll cut this. Next, Mark of Shadows. really based off stealth and mobility. This is your rogue focused subclass, and you get Void Walk, which allows you to basically become a shadow and move all around, but daylight will affect you in some capacity, at least at the first level of it. And then you get Outsider's Pull, which really will allow you to have some vertical movement and remove obstacles in your path. I may end up actually flipping those, because I think Body Transmission would do better than Outsider's Pull. But the beginning levels of Outsider's Pull for this class really are mobility in the sense of pull you towards a target or pull a target towards you. And then you get the free passive of Agility, which is basically a subpar cunning action, much like the Rogue at 2nd level, but you can't hide as a bonus action, I believe was the downside I gave it. Oh, no. Level 1 of it gives you 10 extra feet of movement, and then 2nd level gives you dash and disengage as a bonus action. The idea being you shouldn't need hide, because you can literally become a shadow. And you get plus 10 on your stealth checks. But your speed is halved, and you can move through enemy spaces as if they were difficult terrain. The Void Walk form does suffer from sunlight sensitivity. And I may change that based on playtesting. The problem is I only have one person running this right now, so there's not a whole lot I can look at there. Let's see, level 2, you can now possess a small creature that doesn't have a fly speed. Level 3, you can possess to a small creature. That creature can have a fly speed, and then level 4, you can possess up to a medium-sized creature. So, we're looking at that. Alright. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to look at for this one. I need to figure out a couple more of these levels. Level 2, you can... So sorry. Running through the abilities, Body Transmission is basically Misty Step, but it starts at 15 feet until you start building up more levels. And then at a higher level, it will actually allow you to attack with advantage as you're coming out of it. So the idea being you blink in front of someone and basically just punch them in the face as you're transitioning, so they don't see it coming, therefore you are surprised, or they are surprised. So looking at that, level 2, as a bonus action, you can move 30 feet through the ethereal plane, and then level 3. But the thing about it is that may actually be a that might be a subclass ability, because I actually think that would be a cool 6th level ability for them. So this one's a little rough just because it's kind of all over the place in terms of abilities. So we may actually save this one for another day. I think that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna come back to my nice dark outlook because I much prefer that. And I actually should move the Voidwalker to that as well. And we're gonna glance through a couple of my things, see if there's anything I wanted to work on. So while I have my list, I would rather work on things that are fun right now. These are some old notes for my player adventures, and then oh yeah, the green twigs, because I was working on that. But I think what we're gonna do is just kind of hoping a couple of the guys I know are in my game wanted to hop on and ask some questions, so I'm kind of waiting to see if they'll pop on. But considering considering it's been an hour and a half, I don't know if I'll be able to keep this one up. We'll see. I think I may take another break. Just chill out for a minute. So I think we're gonna do that. Alright, cool. So yeah. Back in 10. Yeah. All right, and we're back. I'm gonna restart my recording. So, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is about the part where I'll cut it off at the start, and I think I'm gonna skip this song. I don't like it. I don't like it as much. I'm using the Twitch and Chill playlist on Spotify if anybody's interested. I was playing some Idle Champions to wake up a bit. But anyways, enough of that. We're here to design some D&D classes. But instead, we're going to do a subclass. Got you. Put away my tablet real fast. So, we're here to look at something I've been wanting to work on. Sorry, checking work email real fast. Interesting. Okay. I was getting some info about a new project. But, anyways, 3, 2, 1, cut off here. All right, folks. So today we're working on a new subclass. I've been wanting to workshop this one for a bit. I actually started as a paladin class, but as I started looking at it, I actually wanted to convert this to warlock because I thought it fit the motif better. So this is Pact of the Siren. And what it's going to be is essentially a warlock that was lost out at sea, and to escape their clutches made a pact with a group of sirens. Now, the reason I chose sirens is because I wanted this class to play a lot like the Fae, where it's all about charming and control, but I wanted that charm to have a very lethal intent to it, which I thought was an interesting mix. So we're going to take some of these abilities that I have written here, which I actually don't know how well this looks on the stream. I think that's good enough. I will actually zoom this in a bit so you guys can see. I think that helps. We may work on this a little bit because I would understand if y'all couldn't read what I was putting down. But what I wanted to do was kind of adjust this list for warlock abilities rather than paladin. And so that was things like, this was a channel divinity originally. So it was this one. And Aura of the Storm is their area of effect one, which I may change to a new ability instead. I'm kind of looking at let's see, kind of looking at this Pact of the Fiend here, and I think it might make a either a good 6th level or 10th level ability. We'll see. You don't get a lot with this class. You get some extra spells, or an expanded spell list. Not necessarily you get to pick those, but you get the expanded spell list and then 4 abilities. So I think this was a nice little practice round to look at. See where that goes. So let me actually, I wanted to pull my setup back. Okay. Let me know if y'all can't read something, because I have it pulled up on my end and can fix it fairly easily. So yeah, let's see. I think I'm going to start with the expanded spell list. I'm getting a lot of text right now. So need a table, and it has to be 2x6, because we'll have spell level and then spells. So first, second, third, if I don't butcher the wording, fourth and fifth. Let's see. It's almost 10 o'clock here. Think we've kind of jumped around for the last hour, but I think I'm going to end it here. I think Pact of the Siren will be good to pick up on next week if I don't have more RPG writing workshop to look at. So thank you guys all so much for tuning in when you did, and if you want to see more, let me know.